All right, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most as we take a drive somewhere out there in Jamaica. Enjoy the scenery. This video is about 5 things you should know when visiting Jamaica. 5 things you should know when visiting Jamaica. We'll keep this one pretty short and give you a wealth of information that will help you to have a wonderful time when visiting the beautiful island of Jamaica. Let's start out with number 1. So, Jamaica is not all play and relaxation. Things can get really serious really quickly. And just like everywhere else on earth, Jamaica has its do not go to places if you don't know anyone there. So, venture off the beaten path into unknown places alone is not recommended. Sightseeing in places you've never been all by yourself is highly not recommended. Okay, so that goes without saying, right? Anywhere you go in the world, there are places that you would not go. I'm situated here in the United States of America, and there are places in Miami that I would not go venturing off by myself. I wouldn't even go there, period. There are places in New York that I would definitely not go by myself or wouldn't even go there, period. So it's important to know where you're going to be going, have a general idea. Don't just land in Jamaica and just take off, okay? It's not recommended. With that said, there are lots of places that you do want to go see and lots of places that you might want to stay away from. You can also check before you leave travel advisory warnings. There are usually warnings that tell you to stay away from certain places, maybe because those places are known as volatile areas. Gang warfares are usually on and popping in those places, or the murder rate's pretty high, crime and violence is pretty high in those places, so you want to stay away from those areas. I, for one, recommend people getting out of their all-inclusive resorts and seeing the actual Jamaica. But I recommend that you do some research about the places you want to see and be very specific and then go out and see them, right? Okay. All right, my SouFLoTV audience, let's take a break from our scheduled program and let's get right into this. I've been wondering for the longest, why has Jamaica not gone totally solar yet? After all, Jamaica has powerful sunshine all year round, and people are in darkness in certain areas, especially in rural areas, and they've been that way for decades, waiting on government to install streetlights. Well, Soninka solar lights. These are commercial grade lights, perfect for rural areas, perfect for dark corners and lanes, perfect for the backyard, the front yard, down the road, driveway lighting, stores, perfect for the farm, waterproof and remote control. Make your surroundings safer. Jamaica has sun all year round, and you will have no problem keeping these lights charged. Did I mention that they are commercial grade and they are remote controlled? You don't have to wait on government to install lights. Some people in some areas have been waiting for decades, literally decades, and they are still in the darkness. These are easy to install. Get in touch with Soninka and they will do the rest for you. And the best part is this: you don't have to pay a monthly light bill. No, this not gonna bother you like a JPS bill, because it's charged by the sun. So take yourself out of the darkness now. Increase your safety now. Get in touch with Soninka Solar and thank me later. Come on, man. Watch there. All the contact information is right there for you. IG, email, phone number, which you can call by WhatsApp, which is free globally. Go on. Get yourself out of the darkness and into the light. back to our regular scheduled program at hand. Number two, change your currency at the airport soon as you land. This is very important. And I have a small story that goes along with this one. The last thing you want to do is to go around pulling out wads of British pounds in US dollars or Canadian dollars or any foreign currency that would give you away as a foreigner. I mean, they are pretty good at looking at you and being able to tell that you are a foreigner already. And they usually don't do anything like mess with you, but you don't want to be pulling out foreign currency, right? You start pulling out foreign currency, they might think you have a whole lot of that foreign currency laying around. And, greedy eyes are sitting around watching you. So this can put you in danger fast. But it can also get you what we call tourist prices. Okay, so if you're going to purchase anything and you pull out a wad of American dollars, for instance, or some British pounds, then you're probably going to be paying the tourist price. And the tourist price, I laugh when I say this because it happens all the time. The tourist price is usually 3 or 4 times higher than what the actual price is for locals. So change your money. Soon as you hit the airport, there are exchange ports inside of the airport. Get you some local currency and then move around like that. Yes, a lot of people will accept payment in US dollars, and sometimes it's easier to do it that way. But I recommend that you get some US currency so that when you're out and about, you can pull that out instead of pulling out US currency in front of people, right? Number 3, you might encounter beggars. Wait, before we go to number 3. So there I was, and I had been in Jamaica for a couple of weeks, and I was getting ready to leave to come back to the United States of America. So my family is like this. I wasn't allowed to spend any of the US dollars that I brought with me, and nobody would take it from me as a gift, right? In other words, they were just happy to see me. So I had this wad of US dollars rolled up, and I told myself I would keep my US dollars in my right pocket and I would keep my Jamaican dollars in my left pocket. And I took a cab, and this cab was supposed to bring me to the airport, this taxi. And the taxi driver started a conversation about how American I was. And I was there speaking in local patois dialect. No, man, me no American. Yeah, I come from, brother. I'm trying to convince him that I was Jamaican, right? The conversation got kind of weird, and honestly, I was pretty young and I got kind of scared because I didn't know the route to the airport at the time. I know now, and I drive myself around now, but back then, this was a while back. Back then, just the way he was asking, I started to think, oh, damn, I might be getting kidnapped this for some reason. Anyhow, long story short, when he dropped me in front of the airport, I went into the wrong pocket. So I went into my US dollars pocket and pulled out a wad of US dollars, and I was getting ready to pay for my cab ride. This cab driver, who I had never seen before, grabs my money and drives off. So there I was at the airport, left with a pocket full of just a couple of Jamaican dollars, right? And all my US dollars was gone. So again, like I said, change your currency at the airport soon as you land. Don't be afraid, but just change your currency so you have some local currency on you while you're on your trip. It makes life easier. On to number 3. Number 3, you might encounter beggars. And some of them are very aggressive. You might hear things like, "Want me, general? Give me a thing, no?" Or you might hear, "Yes, my lord, make something go on for me, no?" You are their lord, you are their general, you are big man, or big woman, or foreigner. They might give you a title while they're begging you, right? And it might feel pretty good to be called the general. Want me general? make a thing go on for me now. Meaning give me something, right? Give me $1. Give me $2. Give me something. Give me a bills now. A bills means $100. No one is gonna beg for anything less than $100. $100 in Jamaica is less than $1. So for them, it's like begging you for $1. Okay? In your mind, you might be thinking, I'm not giving you $100, like 100 US. That's not what they're asking for. They're asking for $1 or 100 Jamaican dollars, right? So if you give somebody about $5, $5 are, if you've probably given them a whole lot of money, they're probably going to be happy. But I'll tell you this, if you're being begged and stalked by beggars, ignore them. You do not have to respond, or you do not even have to make eye contact. They will simply stop begging you and move on to somebody else. If you want to give a tip because somebody helped you in some way, and then feel free, right? The exchange rate is crazy. For instance, $1 is like 150 something Jamaican dollars. So the exchange rate is crazy. So a little really goes a long way. And what might be a luxury dinner for you for one day, that could possibly be dinner for a week for a family. And I'll give you a good example of that. So we went and ate some seafood, right? And I got 2 seafood trays, and each seafood tray was almost $100. So you're looking at $200 for dinner. That's for one day. That's a meal for us. One meal. $200 is someone's entire week's salary that we just spent on one dinner for one day, right? So the exchange rate is crazy. And the way how things work there, again, a tip can actually really go a long way, right? Number 4, the GPS system in Jamaica. A lot of people are afraid to just get to Jamaica and book your car ahead of time. And when you get there, you pick your car up at the airport and you put your address in the GPS where you're trying to go, and you just drive, right? It's a part of the adventure. But a lot of people are afraid because some people still think that Jamaica is so behind. You know, there are people that really believe that Jamaica only has donkeys and we don't really have cars. We have push carts. And even in today, 2023, even in today where there's the internet and they can easily look up videos and see how advanced the Jamaica is, right? So the GPS system in Jamaica, I must tell you, is probably one of the best in the world. It's really good. And if you are up for the adventure, you can rent a car, get in a car, put your address in the GPS, and go. It is super accurate. Just remember that they drive on the opposite side. If you're from the US especially, remember that they drive on the opposite side. Usually when I'm in Jamaica, I make a couple of mistakes. Sometimes in the middle of driving, even though I know they drive on the opposite side, my mind switches back to being in America and I just whoops and just turn up a street in the wrong direction. Now I'm in head-on traffic, but I'm usually able to quickly readjust. And then the funny thing is, when I get back to the US, I find myself wanting to drive on the opposite side for the first couple of days that I'm back in the US. So just to be careful, just remember that they drive on the opposite side. And another thing to watch out for are speeders and potholes. There are a lot of speeders. There are a lot of people who like to drive fast in Jamaica. Jamaica has a huge issue when it comes to vehicular accidents and people dying from vehicular accidents, right? And the potholes. It depends on where you're driving. Jamaica has some beautiful, smooth roads in some places, especially the highways. It's going to feel like you're driving in Miami or somewhere in the UK on good roads, right? But if you venture off into the rural areas of Jamaica, especially, then you're going to start to hit big potholes. Some of them could damage your vehicle. I've had a pothole rip a tire while I was visiting Jamaica, and at the time, it was during the lockdown, curfew, pandemic. Yep, we were traveling even then. Okay, so we just can't stay away. So we were in Jamaica during the pandemic, and you had to be inside by a certain time, and we were all the way on the other side of the island, away from where we were supposed to be staying. And it was getting late at night. The evening was dusking. It was coming down, starting to get dark, and I'm hurrying to get back, and I hit a pothole, and the pothole rips the tire, bursts my tire. So now I'm stuck in Holland Bamboo trying to jack this car up, change my own tire, and I called for assistance. And the people who we rented the vehicle from said, we rented our vehicle from the airport, by the way. So the people who we rented the vehicle from, they said, "Where are you?" And I told them, and they said, listen, it's gonna take us some 9, 10, 11 hours to get to you." That's what they told us. So if you don't want to be stuck out there for 9, 10, 11 hours, then make sure your vehicle that you rent has a spare tire in it. Make sure and a jack, and make sure you know how to jack up your vehicle and change your own tire. So we were able to jack up our own vehicle, change our own tire, and get moving and get back to where we were supposed to be before the curfew actually hit, right? Just one of those stories I'd like to share with you. So yes, the GPS system is really accurate in Jamaica, and it's a good way to go. Number 5, the most Jamaicans that you meet, they're going to be friendly people who are smiling, jovial, and happy, and they're willing to assist you in any way they can. But make sure that you're thinking safety first at all times. You know, it's easy to be lured away by charm. You're in Jamaica, you're in the ambience, the breeze is warm and nice, cool breeze, warm days, warm evenings. The waters are warm all throughout the day and the night, even in the early morning. People are happy, smiling, greeting you. You know, it's easy to be lured away. Don't fall for it. Most Jamaicans you meet, they're going to be friendly. They're going to be smiling. That's just how we are, right? Majority of us. Make sure you buy travel insurance. So don't be lured away by strangers. Come, let me show you this over here, so. Come, man, me have something for show you over there, so. Come with us. We can have some fun around there. Don't. Okay? Don't just go wandering off with strangers. You might be with somebody who has bad intentions for you. Okay? Now, safety first. And this should apply for anywhere you go in the world. But in Jamaica, safety first. Here's why. Make sure you purchase travel insurance when you purchase your tickets to go to Jamaica, right? And have an exit plan just in case there is a medical emergency. I don't know. Things can happen out the blue. Like, for instance, I was in Jamaica once and I decided to go swimming barefooted. And I jumped off of a cliff, and there was a bottle that was broken in half that was sitting at the bottom of the water. And I stepped on that bottle and sliced the bottom of my foot. So there was this big puddle of red around me. And I was like, oh man, my foot is cut. So with the salt water rushing in, I jumped out of the water. I looked at my foot. It was a pretty bad cut, but it wasn't bad enough for me to immediately say I needed to be flown out of Jamaica to go get medical attention. I was able to wrap it up and hold it, compress it, and I was out of Jamaica anyways within 2 days. But in case something like that happens to you and it's a worse cut than the one that I experienced, and you actually need some medical attention before it gets infected, and then you end up losing a leg or something, then your medical insurance will kick in and you can be flown out of the country and back to, say, the US or wherever else to get your proper medical attention. It's sad, but Jamaica is not that good when it comes to, like, we have good doctors, we have good medical personnel, but I don't know if you've ever been in a hospital waiting room in Jamaica and seen what the scene is like. It's just not what you're used to. And in an emergency situation, it's not where you want to be, right? So don't forget your travel insurance when you're booking your trip to go see this beautiful island of Jamaica. Enjoy. Tell me if this was helpful for you. Those are 5 things that you need to know when visiting Jamaica, and I'll probably do in a video called 5 more things that you need to know when visiting the island of Jamaica. I'll catch y'all on the next video. I'm out. Peace.